fun thing. Woke up Wednesday morning, checked my phone, and it was like, whoa, what a delight. I'm so happy when companies just rip off Nintendo. What a thrill.
Yeah, I was convinced it was just a terrible Photoshop.
Oh,
I was
yeah?
like, a little late for this, guys. But
And so it is a miniaturized PlayStation 1
Yeah.
with 2 controllers, no analog sticks, which is interesting.
Kinda
It
disappointing.
limits the games, but we'll talk about
Well,
it.
it doesn't limit that many games from the PS1. Honestly.
Well, Ape Escape.
My point still stands.
There's enough where, like, I think people would like to use an analog stick for some of those
Sure.
games and stuff. The analog version of, was it Resident Evil 2 that they re-released? Resident Evil 1 with, like, the analog edition. Remember
Right.
that?
Yep.
That was weird.
They re-released that game way too many times.
Yeah, and that's what this segment's about.
How many times did they re-release Resident Evil?
PlayStation Classic, everybody. So it's going to be bundled with 20 games. What a thrill. What was your emotion seeing that, Cork?
it's small.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is going to be a wake-up call for nostalgia heads out there.
Yep.
Because unlike the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, I'm going to bet that those games have not aged as well in the minds of the players as their imaginations may lead them
That's
to
just
believe.
every old game, though. Do you think it's
But
different for the PlayStation?
I think
1?
sprites hold up better. A very controversial
sure.
opinion than paddle hand, Dire Straits, money for nothing weirdos. Like seriously, when was the last time you were like, Mother, I need to play Jumping Flash. I've got to play that first-person platformer with
But
the robot
that's like
rabbit.
novelty early PlayStation. It's fun to include the games that are just going to have withered away with the passage of time. Isn't it like there's something thrilling about, like, let's show some games that maybe went for more than they could handle out of the gate? No? You would just
Fun
want the
to
most polished stuff?
revisit those like by checking a game out of our vault, but not by spending $100 on a PlayStation Classic.
So
well,
it's-
but there'll be some good ones on there.
there will be like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If that's on there, it'll be great. You know why? Because it's a 2D game.
Right. Heart of
early
Darkness
3D games are
holds
really
up so
rough.
well. That's true. Okay, so what they've announced 5 games so far.
Yes.
All right. In order of importance, in my mind, Jumping Flash, number 1.
most important.
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Okay.
Ridge Racer. Then we have Wild Arms, which I think is a very fun game to get out of the gate with, in terms of, like, that would be everybody's collectively 36th choice. And I just love that it's like, nope, out of the gate, Wild Arms. Like, this is going to be an eccentric bundle. Then we have Tekken 3. Great choice.
Yeah.
Great choice.
I'm in on that.
And Final Fantasy 7 on this thing. It's so stupid that I
Where
get
else would
excited.
you play Final Fantasy VII?
It's so stupid that it just comes it comes on the heels of them announcing for Nintendo Switch, where it's like, we
And
just played
Xbox One.
Yeah. Where it's like, I just played that for the Game Club a couple years ago, but still is like,
It was still good though.
I might want to play it again on Switch. And then seeing this, it's like, I kind of want to play it on the original
Yeah.
PlayStation controller. There's something kind of appealing about
That's
that. I'm a complete sucker for this. Like, I'm going to buy it, but more so even than I think Super Nintendo Classic or anything else. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to sit down and, what am I going to do? Play through Wild Arms? No sane human being in the year 2018
Yeah.
should play through all of Wild Arms.
I'm going to do the same thing I did with the SNES Classic, where I'm going to buy it and then keep it in its box.
Yes.
It's so this thing that has been mass-produced a billion times is like collector-worthy by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'm just going to be like, this is a thing that I really ought to get around to doing sometime.
You don't even want to like put it on a shelf and like look at it like, oh, look at this miniature
What do you think? I'm
version
just
of my
going to throw it on the
childhood.
floor under the sink?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will put it on a
misheard you.
shelf.
Cork, if I went to your house, though,
Yes.
I evacuated your wife and lovely children.
What?
I evacuated them
Yuck.
from the house,
Gross.
and then I took like lumber.
Oh, careful. There's
took lumber and like sealed you in your house.
Okay.
You could not leave. You'd have like, I wouldn't cut off your water supply.
Uh-huh.
I'd keep giving you some bread with tang on it so you could.
How much am I
sustain
paying you
yourself.
for this?
The slits.
No, so
I'll pay you $10,000 for this.
you're like under house arrest.
Okay.
How long until you would beat Wild Arms on the PlayStation?
Beat Wild
Classic?
Arms. I don't know. How long is that game?
I'm gonna guess. Leo, can you look up how long to beat for Wild Arms?
I never played it, so maybe it's my favorite game. I just didn't know it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Solid. It's a
But
cool
see,
Western RPG.
Are you asking how long until he got around to playing
I'm just
it?
saying. He's totally right. Where it seems great, but you're never gonna do it. It's like in my mind, it's like I want to play more Skyrim on the Switch. I was just on a plane for a very long period of time, had Skyrim on the Switch, and I still wasn't compelled to play it. And at some point, you got to rip that Band-Aid off and realize you're not going to play these old games. But still, a super fun announcement for the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, I was really happy to see it.
Yeah.
I'm a lot less likely to spend money on this than I was the NES or SNES.
Yeah.
I feel kind of the same way, even though I probably spent more time on the original PlayStation than I did the NES or SNES, but I was more excited about the SNES. I think because of the way those games hold up. Like that list of 5 games they announced.
Yeah.
Aside from Final Fantasy VII, I don't think I'm really that excited to go back to any of those.
Right. We still have 15 games to go, folks. Like, what would get you excited? Symphony of the Night was mentioned.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk, which one?
I'd say the first 2.
Just put them both on there?
I mean, get the original skaters, the original music, I'm in.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think they'd modify the code. That'd be...
I mean, they have to get licensing, and who knows? I mean, when they re-released Crazy Taxi on Xbox 360, it had no Offspring.
Yeah, I wonder.
Interesting.
I didn't even think about that. If they have like released Tony Hawk, but it doesn't have Goldfinger Superman in there,
Yeah, that's a deal breaker.
no deal. I'm gonna bust this thing in half at that
Yes.
point. I'll be so outraged. And I like the idea of them focusing on earlier games in the PlayStation lifespan.
Give me Battle Arena Toshinden.
Yeah,
Give me Destruction Derby.
give me IQ.
Give me.
I would love IQ.
The
That'd be
intelligent
such a
cube
weird,
itself.
oddball choice.
It'd be so fun. But if they're choosing, Jumping Flash for Christ's sake and Wild
Yeah.
Arms, like IQ worthy, I say.
Yeah.
Stuff like okay, we talked about it in the office. There's something on the site as well, but like people want like Chrono Cross, like some of the great RPGs for the PlayStation. I don't know. Like I bet they would save the later gen stuff for like a next wave when they have the analog in there. They get Ape Escape. They get kind of like the Vandal Hearts or sorry, not Valiant Hearts.
Yes.
Sorry. Vagrant Story is the game I'm thinking of.
Holy crap.
Not
All right.
Vandal
What a journey.
Hearts. Vandal Hearts could go on the earlier version, but don't you guys think that would make sense? Like the PlayStation
2.
98 through 2000 with the analog stick, like that's the wave 2?
You think that's their plan? They would do a version 2 rather
Yes.
than like PS2 mini?
I bet they would do a version 2 of PS1 before the PS2 mini.
I would hate that so much.
Really?
Yes.
They're going
I
to do
hate
it.
it when companies release new things.
It's such a bummer.
Yeah, people would buy it again.
They would absolutely do
Even
it.
if there was like 10 games on overlapping between the two.
So you'd have to
Yeah.
have twice as many systems to play the things that all went on the same system back in the day. That makes no sense.
But a lot of this is for people who don't like buy a lot of modern consoles, right? Don't you think? A lot of this is just like tapping into
Yeah, but, like-
nostalgia. It's like you haven't played games in a while, but guess what? Here's all your favorite games
But
from
if you
your
still
childhood.
have, I don't know.
Guess what? Your
It-
childhood's smaller now. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But now it's twice as many if you do the double.
Well, look, we're
PS1.
complaining about something hypothetical.
Or buy this and like throw it in your like cabin or, your summer house.
Right. Everybody's got another house.
These are money bags. Your cabin or your summer house.
Or
You
both.
choose
I
your-
might buy two, one for each.
in your apartment where your mistress lives, just throw it anywhere. It's no big deal.
Whatever. I'm going to buy one for my doghouse.
I have another question. Can my wife and children, can they stay in your summer house? They've been recently
Yeah, I've already
evacuated.
stocked it with bread tang, so I don't know what it was.
It's
they
going to be
like.
weird to play these games just with the D-pad again on the PlayStation. It's been a while since I've held that controller,
How much time do you think you will spend in each game after hitting start before you bail? Like, what do you think the average time in those 20 games?
I will spend more time with these than, let's say a hypothetical collection of NES games, which I recently played on my Nintendo Switch, which we'll
Really?
talk about in a little bit. Yeah, totally. I love this generation. Like, this is the greatest generation.
Yeah.
Outside of the PlayStation 2.
And the
which is-
SNES.
Well, look, outside of those great generations, this is one of the strongest. But this
And
is
the
where-
current generation.
This is my console nostalgia, And I know you always poo-poo those newbies out there that didn't start gaming back on the ColecoVision or whatever the hell you
I
were into.
hate how
of
they
course.
weren't born yet. That's
Well, I remember
stupid.
one time you brought up like no one's nostalgic for the N64. You just could not fathom that, and it's like,
Really?
dude, do you
I think
understand?
there are, yeah.
Oh my
Not-
God, it's huge.
They're not correctly nostalgic.
Oh.
Correct nostalgia is such a stupid idea. Okay, any other games you guys would love to see on this thing? Like, is there a make or break? Are you all going to buy it at this point, or is there anything that'll put you over the edge
You
for?
can have Twisted Metal on there, one of them,
Yeah,
right?
I hope they do one. I know it's not as good as 2,
Yeah.
but I love it, and I feel like it's a good historical timestamp.
I don't know what would totally. Honestly, I might buy it for IQ if IQ is on there. It's such a weird oddball. If they go that far out, that'd be great. I'd love Metal Gear Solid, but I feel like I played that game so many times.
Also,
I
I'd
don't know
want
if
the
that would-
analog stick for Metal
Yeah,
Solid.
I agree. Final Fantasy Tactics, another one of my favorite games of all time. I might go back and play it for that.
Okay. Yep. I saw Reset Era. They had an interesting thread recently where they were talking. This is a forum online, if you're not familiar. but they're like, why are people excited about this? Like the PlayStation TV or like the Vita TV was cheaper. It had a la carte all these PlayStation games, and you guys didn't care about it. You didn't buy it.
This
like,
is small.
It's more
It's the
direct
shape, yeah.
nostalgia. It's the shape. How silly is that, though?
It is. 100%.
Real dumb.
But lovable, $100.
Yeah.
But
Jay
it's,
hates
it's
it.
so adorable. I wonder if this will be as easy to hack as like the SNES Classic.
Undoubtedly.
Just throw more games on there.
Yeah. Exciting times. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyways, cool. I can't wait to press that PlayStation button. I hope it feels like it's kind of like rickety and hollow for the power buttons as
Is it
the
going to have
original
that
did.
startup sound?
Oh, if they don't do that,
It's a failed venture.
get the hell out of here.
In 30 years, do you think there'll be an iPad mini for like other people?
There already is an
right
iPad
up
mini.
now, and no, shut up. I'm thinking of it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all in one
funny.
package with iPad games.
Yeah, and you have to have like a little extension that takes your finger and then turns into like a smaller finger on the end.
When are they going to release that finger?
Yeah. All right, can't wait for the finger. But hey, PlayStation Classic, exciting times. That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.